Because my people are not serious. Nigeria is a very unserious country. The people are very unserious, and we thank God.
Yeah, Charlie. So there is this Nigerian American who has lived in America for a very long time. He's actually American and also a Nigerian. Decided to move back to Africa, but he did not choose Nigeria, but rather Ghana. He's sharing with us the reason why he chose Ghana and also other experiences that he has experienced whilst living in Ghana. Let's go into the videos. Don't forget to please like the video, comment whatever you think, and share for me. Let's go.
Let's talk about Accra, Ghana. Now, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but it's going to be as long as God needs it to be, because we need to talk about some things. As some of y'all know, I am Nigerian American. I was born in Nigeria, and then I moved to America as a minor, and I lived in America for 17 years of my life, and then I got on a one-way plane ticket out of America, and now I am currently living in Accra, Ghana. And some of y'all keep asking, why did I leave America? How come I didn't go back to Nigeria? How come I chose Ghana? I'm going to answer some of that right now. I left Nigeria to America because mommy and daddy decided to move from Nigeria to America, and the only logical, easiest thing to do is just to follow everybody to America and wouldn't to marry him. I left America because, shout out to America, I will always appreciate America for what America is and has always represented in my life, but it was time to take a break. So I'm taking a break from America. I don't know if I'll move back to America, but as of right now, I am taking a break. I deliberately and specifically chose to skip Nigeria because my people are not serious. Nigeria is a very unserious country. The people are very unserious, and we thank God. However, I chose Ghana for a lot of different reasons. One of the reasons is because of the peace. Ghana is a very peaceful place. The people are very peaceful, they're mellow, they're like, shout out to Ghanaians. When I tell you, man, I don't feel any type of hostility or crazy animosity, like being around Ghanaians. Yes, human is human. There are batshit crazy people here too, just like everywhere else. But like, compared to the things that I've seen in my life, traveling within Nigeria, living in America, shout out to Ghanaians, Chad. So the peace is very attractive. But before I settled in Ghana, I traveled a lot. I traveled around a lot. I traveled in Europe a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Went to other parts of Africa, even traveled within Nigeria, tried to find a place that I can live in Nigeria, and it was just, hey, you fucking no, Chad. And I settled in Ghana, and I'm grateful for this because Ghana, I think apart from Liberia and maybe Sierra Leone, I don't even if I'm mentioning it right, and then maybe the Gambia, these are the only other English-speaking West African countries outside of Nigeria. And Liberia, I don't really know a whole lot about Liberia. Shout out to Liberia, no shade. I don't know shit about the Gabon. Is it Gambia or the Gabon? I don't know anything about them, but Ghana and Nigeria, they seem to have this type of relationship. Everybody knows about Nigeria. Everybody knows about Ghana. They're sort of like brothers, cousins, so it was just much easier for me to just, if you know Nigeria, girl, you'd be fine in Ghana. So it was just easier for me to just come down to Ghana. And I've also been to Ghana before, and Ghana is an English speaking country. There's a lot of American expats here. So it was just easier for me to just, settle in Ghana. And there are a couple of great things about Ghana that I personally appreciate. There's a lot of Americans here, like Ghana is very open when it comes to international exploration. There's a lot of expats here from other parts of the world, not just America. I think the whole year of return thing that one of the old presidents did for Ghana invited a whole lot of foreigners into Ghana, especially Black Americans. And, shout out to all the Black Americans. But if you don't know, Chad, a lot of Black Americans for such a long time have been tired of America and all, America's racial, systemic racism and things like that. So a lot of Black Americans who have been hungry to leave America, to invest their money, their time, their energy outside of America, they found this whole year of return thing very attractive. So they came to Ghana, they invested their money, they bought property. And as a result, there's a lot of Americans here. There's a lot of American businesses here. A lot of Americans own properties here. Some of them don't even live here. They have properties here that they use for Airbnb, like short-term rental apartment, things like that. But that comes at a cost. This has created this ridiculous pricing in Accra. Accra is ridiculously expensive as shit. Okay, this is the parts that nobody told me that I came to find out after the plane has landed inside Accra and I collected my visa stamp. We thank God. Accra, Ghana is more expensive than Houston, Texas. I'm going to say it again. Accra, Ghana is more expensive than Houston, Texas. Now, there are terms and conditions regarding this expense, Chad, so I'm going to break it down. If you are American or you have lived in America and you're used to Western privilege, Western lifestyle and things like that, and you move to Accra, Ghana, or you're visiting Accra, Ghana, and you would like to maintain that privilege, that lifestyle, it will cost you a pretty penny. And more than likely, you will be paying more than equivalent of what you'll be paying back home in America. This is facts, okay? A lot of things here are imported from abroad. Even the real estate here is ridiculously expensive. And I've noticed a lot of people, the real estate developers here, they might have like local labor, but a lot of the, what's it called, Chad? Contractors, from what I've seen, are flown in. A lot of the parts are being imported, so they're not local. You're paying for all those things. If you want an equivalent of Walmart, Target, HEB here, you're going to be paying for it. Yes, you can go to the local markets and, buy whatever the fuck the local people are buying, and it's going to be much cheaper, but it might not be the same quality of what you're used to back home in America. If you want brands that you recognize, like me personally, I always say I don't do business or eat from people I cannot sue. So if you have that kind of mentality, you're going to have to be paying for it, point blank period. Now, I know that a lot of people, especially Black Americans, have this idea, I'm going to move to Ghana, I'm going to move to Ghana, and a lot of people have moved to Ghana until they get here and they come to realize, if you're going to be moving to Ghana, make sure you make your money outside of Ghana, point blank period. Now, shout out to America. I'm very grateful to be American, things like that. America has definitely had a really good run in my life, but I've always maintained respectfully, America is for poor people. America has a credit system that keeps you comfortable but poor. I say America is for poor people because if you start calculating the debt and income ratio, you come to realize that a lot of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. A lot of Americans don't own shit, okay? You don't own your home, you don't own your apartment, you don't own your car. A lot of times you don't even own your cell phones. And even if you do, there's so many services that you have to keep paying for every 30 days, meaning that you have to keep going to work. You have to, continue with the rat race. If not, you just fall off. And homelessness is on fleek in America right now. However, in Ghana, I believe that Ghana, when it comes to, catering to diasporans, they are intentionally catering to Black excellence. People who have money. Like, I'm talking people who make money, not just the average American. The average American is broke as shit. No disrespect. If you are an average American who is clocking in and clocking out of work, no shade to you, Chad. You're barely getting by. Maybe you're comfortable with your little, leased apartment and things like that. Ghana is not for you. Unless you have your own money or, you're retired or you have some type of business that you are able to live outside of America, like live in Ghana and still make money in dollars, you will suffer here. Unless you don't mind living like a local, because some locals, they make it. You can find an apartment for $100 a month. Go to grocery shopping in the market like everybody else. It might not be comfortable. It might just be very weird to you because especially if you're American and you've never left America before, you're about to taste the motherfucking motherland, Chad. You might not have 24-hour electricity, especially when, the lights go off from the storms. No backup generator. It might not be the most couth neighborhood. It might just be looking like it's looking. But if you want to maintain that American excellence, money. Shout out to all my Americans, but especially Black Americans. I've always mentioned this, Black Americans were and have always been my favorite people in America. And I definitely feel for a lot of Black Americans when I see that a lot of them are frustrated with the systemic racism in America. Hell, I'm not even American by birth, and I was tired of that shit. I was ready to go. So imagine a person who was born and raised there. So I see a lot of that pain, a lot of that desperation for a lot of Black Americans to leave, actually, a lot of Americans in general, to leave America in search of greener pastures. But don't get it twisted. You have to do your research. Africa and America are not the same. I know Africa is a continent and not a country. It's not the same. One of the reasons why I'm able to relatively navigate here is because at the end of the day, I'm still Nigerian. Yes, I'm American, but I'm still a Nigerian boy. I was born in Aba. I can switch the accents. This is not how I talk when I'm in the streets. When I'm in the streets and I'm talking to people, I'm talking with a Nigerian accent. Matter of fact, a lot of people don't even know that I'm American. Maybe because of the way I dress and things like that. But when I start talking with people, they think I'm Nigerian. Most people automatically assume that I'm Nigerian, which is totally helps me blend in, not a problem. The language is very different, but a lot of the cultural nuances seem very similar. A lot of the mentality seems very similar. Phenotypically, a lot of people, Ghana, Nigerian, same shit. They look very similar. There's a lot of Nigerians here, so they're used to that traffic back and forth. So, and also this is not my first time leaving America. This is not my first time visiting Ghana. This is not my first time being in Africa. So I'm well exposed to, I know how to get by. It's not a problem. But if I was born and raised in America exclusively, more than likely I might suffer. Because I don't know shit here, I barely know people here. Shout out to some of the people who watch me online and maybe recognize me, in the streets and maybe, some of the places that I go to. But outside of that, I don't really know a whole lot of people here. But you have to do your research. It's very different. You need money, okay? A lot of money. Homes here are expensive as shit. Like finding an apartment or finding apartments here was hell, like dead ass. Like I'd be trying to look for a 1-bedroom apartment of my taste of, what I'm used to or I was used to back in Houston. And they're telling me it's $2,500. For a 1-bedroom apartment, $2,500 American dollars. So they don't even price these apartments in cities, dollars, American dollars, because they're not marketing to the local people. They're marketing to people, expats, people who make money. And there's a lot of people who make money in Africa. And when I tell you, especially Nigeria, there's a lot of money in Africa. I keep saying this, no disrespect. Africa is where you want to be if you have real money. A lot of Africans, a lot of black people, especially Africans who have real money, they don't live in America. Maybe they have their kids in America. Maybe they go to America for treatments and, educations and things like that, but they have properties here. Okay. So like finding a one bedroom apartment can cost you like $2,000, sometimes even more, like $3,000, like especially in places like Cantonment, East Legon, East Airport, where I used to live before, Osu. Those places are expensive as shit. You're going to be seeing other expats like you, but these expats, don't get it twisted, they're not the average Americans. These people got money. Okay. Like when you see people buying houses here, like houses here cost about, you can find a house from $100,000 to $500,000. Even more than that, okay? These people are paying cash, okay? Imagine buying a home that costs like $300,000 and you're paying cash. That's how some Africans have it. Like they have $300,000 cash to pay for a home. Who the fuck do you know in America that has $300,000 in their bank account? You're signing a fucking mortgage for 30 years. This is just the way it's a whole different level of shit. So those are the people that Accra, Ghana is marketing to. Again, going back and forth to America, especially I was just in America a few months ago, and I was, when people asked me where I lived, I told them Ghana. A lot of them, they want to move to Ghana because they keep hearing about Ghana. I'm like, my dear, it sounds very attractive, but it's not for the average person. I'm not trying to clown anybody. You need to check yourself, check your pocket. Do you have your own business? I got my own shit that I got going on, and I'm also very frugal. I don't need that much. I don't drive. I don't, I live very simple. Like anybody who knows me knows I'm a very, very simple person. And I'm mentioning this because a lot of people, especially people who live in America, no shade, tend to be very vain. Like I see a lot of people, it's all about the birthdays and shit. Gotta get flued out, gotta get the J's on the feet, everything gotta be on fleek. Look, I'm looking a hot mess. Look at this hair, look at this beard. I got that shit from Academy, Target, and Walmart. You know what I'm saying? I just live a very simple life. So whatever little change my God puts in my bank account, I use that and take care of myself. I'll move the hell on. Again, I've been here before. I'm from Africa. I understand the general mentality, the general landscape, the general lifestyle. I know how to maneuver. I just happen to be privileged with, dual citizenship, that I've tasted a taste of Western lifestyle, that I know how to maneuver back and forth. But if that is not you and you don't have that kind of privilege, you might suffer. Check your pockets. How deep is your pocket? Are you able to earn outside of Ghana while you live in Ghana? If the answer is yes, then shit, come buy property. Shit, there's nice properties out here. Don't even get me wrong. Like if you can afford it, like if you have like $100,000 or $200,000 cash to buy, and you're about that life, this is the fucking place, dead ass. Especially if you're heterosexual. Sexuality really does not matter, but I know that it's a big deal for a lot of people. I know some queer people are concerned about investing their money, even me too, Chad, in a place that is very homophobic, but it is what it is. Right now, things might change tomorrow. You never know. But if you are about that life, this is the place to invest. I definitely recommend it. I will do another video breaking down the dangers of all these influx of, foreigners, and especially Americans, investing money here because it's affecting the local people. But that's going to be a whole nother video. Stay tuned. Uche, peace and love.
Look, Nigerians in general, they know what problem they have in their country. They know. The ones outside, the ones inside the country, they know. The ones inside the country, if they even have the finances to travel out, they will do. Many of them will just do that and that will be all. You understand? So the Nigerian situation there, all Nigerians know. That's why many of them prefer moving to Ghana. That's why I all the time say that Nigerians, whether home or abroad, if you decide to travel outside Nigeria and you come into Ghana or any other country, make sure you maintain the peace that you came to meet in those respective countries. Don't commit these crimes, don't do this, don't do the bad things that people complain about, and everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. Ghana is a very peaceful country. Many people know this. So you traveling to Ghana, just maintain that peace, because you moved out of your country, Nigeria, coming into Ghana because you wanted peace. So the moment you come here, make sure you maintain that peace. Don't commit crime. Don't do these bad stuffs. That's all. You will live peacefully with you guys. That's all Ghanaians are requesting for or asking for. That's all. And as he said, Ghana there, the only thing many people will talk about is Ghana is expensive. But apart from that, everything is all right. Everything is cool. The only thing I've heard many people complain about is people charging in dollars and also the country being expensive in general. That's the only thing people talk about. Apart from that, Charlie, Ghana is a cool place to live in. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for watching.